I make rice a lot. I have to use 2 tablespoons of butter or margarine. I'm going to use the scientific process to solve a problem. My first step is to ask a question. I want to find out if it's true that if you cut up the butter and put it in a pan, it will melt faster than a piece of butter that is uncut. I'm going to cut 2 tablespoons of butter right here. And then I'm going to take the 2 tablespoons and I'm going to divide it exactly in half. Now I'm going to take 1 piece and cut it up into smaller pieces. Okay, so now I have my 2 tablespoons of butter, but one is whole and the other has been broken down into pieces. I'm going to move the butter into a hot pan that's been heated up for about now 5 minutes. Should be ready to go. Okay, now I'm going to put both down exactly at the same time. Let's see what happens. Now it looks to me at this time as if all the small pieces have melted and the large piece is still there. I added some rice. I'm going to finish cooking this as I go through the lesson today, but great. My experiment seemed to work really well. Let's take a look at the scientific method and how it stacks up with what we're doing while my rice is browning. All right, first I asked a question. My question was, will the butter melt faster if I cut it into smaller pieces? My hypothesis was it would melt faster. The reason why I'm forming that hypothesis is because I've seen this principle before in other aspects of things. When I've had to deal with breaking up ice for my driveway, what I found is that if I break the ice into smaller pieces and crack it open, what happens is as the temperature rises, those pieces that have cracks in them already, they melt faster than the other parts of ice that I didn't get to. So I knew that the amount of surface area had an effect on the reactions of something melting already. All right, I designed an experiment to test my hypothesis. And for that experiment, as you could remember, was for me to take the butter, cut it up into 2 different piles there, take the smaller pieces, put them in, take the large piece, put it in there, and see what would happen. There were a number of factors that I tried to keep the same. And the only thing different in my experiment was the fact that the butter was chopped up in one case and not in the other. Let's check on the rice here. Getting back to this idea of keeping things the same except for the factor you want to test, well, I tried to have exactly 1 tablespoon of butter in each pile. But one was chopped and the other wasn't. Now, I also had this stove on, this pan on, for about 5 minutes so that everywhere on the surface of the pan, it was about the same temperature. So you had the same amount of butter, same kind of butter, same temperatures involved. The only difference between the two, the fact that that butter was chopped up. So that was an important part of the experiment. Now I analyzed my data. My data came up exactly as I expected it. I saw that the butter melted in the small pieces faster, and I made a tentative conclusion. My conclusion is if you're gonna make some rice, cut the butter up, things will move faster. And now I might test my conclusion over and over again. That means I've gotta eat more and more rice, but it also might mean that I would like to see if this phenomenon repeats itself in other ways. All right, so this was a quick little kitchen thing. I'm gonna go finish cooking my rice, eat it. Thank you for listening to the lesson, and we'll see you back in class.